So the question is, how did I Am Joe happen? Well, Pedro used to be my roommate, funny enough, and he'd come out from New York for some big Hollywood deal that, like most Hollywood deals, fell through. But him and Zoltan and I began making short film projects together, and then he went back to New York after a couple months and wrote this script and goes, I'm coming back out. We're going to make this movie. It's going to be amazing. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I just wrote it. I spent the last 4 months working on The Apprentice, writing this script while I was sitting in a van shuttling people around. I'm like, that's insane. Let's read the script. So he sent it over. And Zoltan and I looked at it and we're like, yeah, this is a wild, crazy revenge flick. We got to do it. And Pedro goes, I'll be back in July. We're going to film in August. And I'm like, okay. And that was like months away. Next thing you know, it's July, and Pedro was like, I'm here, we're filming next month. And we started filming.
Alex, who was taking a break outside, who's doing makeup, said, hey, cops are outside. I'm like, why are the cops outside my apartment? I'm not really sure if one of the neighbors called the cops or if the cops were just actually checking out a crime that was taking place. Still don't know what the mystery is. Manager says nobody actually called the cops, but we're still uncertain about that. But the cops were outside, and we were afraid of being shut down.
So I was reading The Portrait of Dorian Gray, and Laurent was going through makeup, like a pretty intensive makeup process, where he was having this stuff put on his face, and it was just like, I know how that goes, and it can just be mind-wrecking. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna read to Laurent from my book out of this place where no one knows where this part is, but I'm just gonna start reading. So for like an hour or two, as Laurent's going through makeup, I'm sitting there reading pages and pages out of The Portrait of Dorian Gray. It was awesome.
I don't know if it's like a matter of me personally, but I've been to the desert more than everyone, I think. And one thing people think is, it's going to be hot, so I should dress down. But that's like actually the opposite of what you should do. Like I wore long sleeve pants and like had basically like a bandana around my face and a hat, because the sun will take it out of you really quickly. And it definitely did with the crew. Like at one point I was standing out there just like, oh God, and Pedro was on the ground freaking out. Laurent was pacing back and forth with like heat hallucinations.
I loved the cast and crew so much. It made all of our long shooting days like more than bearable, just incredibly fun. The only bad thing about the long shoot was that Laurent's suit was never able to be washed. So I had to deal with some difficult stench.
You're not the only one. We were in locations that we didn't have permission to be in. We were shooting on streets without permits. We were running around with unloaded firearms without permits. I mean, it was an intense experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was awesome.